Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and destruction caused by the recent flood in Yola, Adamawa State, and both mishap in Guni Village, Niger State. In a statement issued by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the President conveyed his condolences to the affected families and commended the emergency responders who have been on the front line of rescue. He described flooding as a global phenomenon driven largely by climate change, but warned that local human activities often worsen its impact. We must not engage in behaviors that compound the efforts of natural disasters, he said, end of quote. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, is mourning the victims of two separate tragedies that struck communities in Niger and Adamawa State over the weekend. In Niger State, at least 15 people lost their lives when a boat carrying 43 passengers capsized in Zuba, Shiroro local government area. The ill-fated vessel was en route to the weekly market loaded with passengers, 60 bags of paddy rice, livestock and other goods when it hit a tree and overturned. In a related development, devastating floods swept through several communities in Adamawa State, claiming 5 lives and injuring more than 50 others. The flood, which affected parts of Yola North and Yola South local government areas, have left many residents displaced and homes destroyed. The immediate past chairman of the Nigerian political party All Progressive Congress APC, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, have been conferred with the esteemed Grand Patron Award in recognition of his significant contributions to the sustainability and development of broadcasting practice in Nigeria. The award was confirmed on him at a prestigious ceremony held during the grand finale of Nigerian Week London 2025, held at the Habendron Theatre, Golders Green, London. Our correspondent, Edikan Michael, tells us more.
The award ceremony took place amidst a gathering of prominent Nigerian diaspora leaders, industry stakeholders, and well-wishers celebrating Nigeria's rich cultural heritage, economic progress, and impactful contributions across various sectors. The event, now in its 2025 edition, aims to strengthen diplomatic and economic ties between Nigeria and the United Kingdom, while spotlighting Nigeria's achievements on the international stage. Delivering keynote address at the event, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Lanre Issa-Onilu, and his counterpart, the Director General of the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission, Charles Ebuebe, tasked the creative industry to drive positive Nigeria stories that can captivate both domestic and global audiences.
So we felt both the leaders and the followers must be committed to that identity project. And that is the only time we can collectively move the country together.
The strategy we have decided to put up is fix the foundation first, and then you come up with regulations and engagements and all of that.
During the award presentations, Dr. Ganduje, the immediate past chairman of the All Progressive Congress, was honored for his dedicated efforts in promoting effective broadcasting practices and supporting the growth of Nigeria's media landscape.
It's here. So this award goes to Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR, for the Distinguished Patron Leadership Award. And the representative is here. Congratulations, madam.
The organizer says Ganduje's leadership and initiative have been instrumental in fostering transparency, promoting national unity, and enhancing the country's media infrastructure. Represented by a team of top management of Global Television, the acting managing director Aisha Lare Musa expressed Ganduje's gratitude on the award.
I'm here to receive this award on behalf of His Excellency Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje, who really wanted to be here during the opening ceremony.
Nigeria Week is an annual week-long international festival in London to highlight Nigeria's contribution to film, fashion, Nollywood, and Afrobeat music, as well as the tradition of various ethnic groups across the nation. Edika Michael, reporting from London for Global Television News.
Let us move to the Speaker of the Nigerian House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, says the Parliament is stepping up effort to tackle religious and racial discrimination across the country. He made this known at the 2025 Interfaith Legislative Roundtable in Abuja, calling for stronger legal and educational tools to promote tolerance and national unity. The House of Representatives says it is committed to building a more inclusive society where no citizen is discriminated against based on religious or race. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, represented by Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu, made the declaration while opening the 2025 Interfaith Legislative Roundtable engagement in Abuja. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has hosted a post-election follow-up and needs assessment mission from the Economic Community of West African State Network of Electoral Commissions (ECONEC) in Abuja. The mission seeks to evaluate Nigerians' implementation of recommendations from the 2023 general elections. Anete Patrick tells us more.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, received a delegation from the Economic Community of West African States Network of Electoral Commissions, ECONEC, on a post-election follow-up mission in Abuja. Led by the head of Liberia's National Elections Commission, Devita Brownie Lassana, the Ghanaian's Deputy Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Bosman Asare, the team is in Nigeria to assess progress made on recommendations issued after the 2023 general elections. Professor Yakubu says ECOWAS made 37 recommendations, 13 addressed to INEC and 24 directed at other stakeholders including the National Assembly, the Nigerian Police, civil society organizations, and media regulators. He confirmed that Independent National Electoral Commission had acted on all recommendations within its administrative capacity while awaiting legislative action on others.
Of these recommendations, 13 are addressed to INEC, while 24 require action by other institutions and stakeholders, such as the National Assembly, the Nigeria Police Force, the National Broadcasting Commission, the National Information Technology Development Agency, civil society organizations, the Nigeria Union of Journalists, and political parties under the umbrella of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. Furthermore, the follow-up mission will also interact with the National Identity Management Commission.
He noted that the Commission's detailed response, along with the 2023 election review report, is publicly available on its website. He commended ECOWAS and ECONEC for their consistent support to electoral integrity in the region and appreciated development partners. The leader of the delegation from ECONEC and head Liberia's National Elections Commission, Devita Brownie Lassana, while commending the INEC chairman, noted that the visit is a peer-to-peer review on its reports of the 2023 general elections to see how well Nigeria has implemented it as a way of lessons learned.
Peer-to-peer review of our presence here during the 2023 elections, but more importantly, the recommendations that we proffer, which were outlined in a report of our visit here. We've come to see how best INEC has implemented those recommendations, and we anticipate that during our engagement, we may be able to understand reasons for some of the issues that came out of the 2023 elections.
The follow-up mission is expected to engage key institutions including National Identity Management Commission as Nigeria continues efforts to strengthen its electoral system. Aniete Patrick, Global Television News.
The former All Nigerian People's Party, ANPP, has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that the vice presidential seat is made sacrosanct for the ANPP bloc within the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, ahead of the 2027 presidential election. Now, the coordinator of the party, Vitalius Ajumbe, made the call while addressing journalists in Abuja. Kike Lomo Okere has the rest of the details.
The All Nigerian People's Party, which is now a major bloc within the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), is calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that the vice presidential slot is reserved for the ANPP bloc when the party fields its candidate for the 2027 presidential election. The coordinator of the party, Vitalis Ajumbe, emphasized that the move will reaffirm the significance of political inclusion and uphold the spirit of equity and power sharing within the APC coalition.
Vice presidential seat. The Association of the former ANPP members hereby calls on our president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to ensure that the vice presidential seat is made sacrosanct for the ANPP bloc in the governing APC for the 2027 presidential election, as millions of the former ANPP members across the country who voted massively for the current ticket you are serving will be disappointed if you choose another person outside the ANPP bloc in the APC as their vice president. Our demands. The Association of Former ANPP members hereby demands from our president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the following. 1. Inclusivity. To offer our services to government and Nigerians, the APC government led by our president should consider our members by appointing us as board chairmen, ambassadors, ministers, heads of government agencies and departments.
He added that preserving the vice presidents for the ANPP bloc will not only strengthen internal democracy but also maintain balance among the party's legacy group. The ANPP is one of the 3 legacy parties that merged to form the APC in 2013. With political realignment already taking shape across the country, this latest demand is expected to stir fresh conversation within the ruling party. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
The House of Representatives has proposed a single day for the conduct of 5 elections in 2027. Now, if the proposal is upheld, the reviewed Electoral Act would empower the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to simultaneously conduct the presidential, senatorial, House of Representatives, governorship, and House of Assembly polls in one day. Other amendments being proposed by the lower chamber of the National Assembly include the payment of 50 million naira to political associations seeking registration as parties, restriction of presidential election expenses to 10 billion naira, conduct of elections 120 days before the expiration of the incumbent term, and determination of election petitions within 90 days after the exercise. The federal government has launched a loan fund to support staff of tertiary institutions. The fund, known as the Tertiary Institution Staff Support Fund, is designed to enhance the welfare and professional development of academic and non-academic staff in universities, polytechnics, and college of education. Each academic and non-academic staff member will be eligible to receive up to 10 million naira, capped at 33.3% of those gross annual salary. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has expressed frustration in the negotiations with the federal government over key issues affecting university lecturers and the education sector in the country. In an interview in JAS, the union president, Professor Chris Piwuna, said the union had run out of patience with the government despite years of promises and discussions. Piwuna stressed the union's demand were clear and well articulated, citing 2009 agreement with the government, which outlines key issues such as conditions of service, autonomy, academic freedom, sustainable funding, and academic allowances. The Social Democratic Party, SDP, has expelled former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and banned him from associating with the party in any capacity for the next 30 years, citing forgery of membership documents. According to a statement by the party spokesperson Araba Ayenigba, El-Rufai never registered at the award level, yet falsely claimed membership on social media while allegedly forging documents to support his claim. The party also accused him of aligning with the African Democratic Congress, ADC, attempting to destabilize the SDP through misinformation and violating the party's principles and Nigerians' electoral laws. The federal government has announced a cost-sharing scheme with the National Health Insurance Authority to make cancer treatment more affordable for low-income patients, offering subsidies of up to 400,000 naira for radiotherapy. This follows the inauguration of 3 ecological centers in Katsina, Nsukka, and Benin, noting that it plans to establish oncology centers in Maiduguri, Port Harcourt, Ilorin, Yola, and other strategic locations. Radiation therapy or radiotherapy is a type of cancer treatment in which specialists kill cancerous cells in the body by exposing them to ionizing radiation. The Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has suspended its planned strike following a tense 12-hour emergency meeting with government officials and state governors. However, the association gave the federal government a 21-day ultimatum to meet its demands, citing dissatisfaction with the recent MOU. Delegates rejected the deal due to lack of clear timelines and guaranteed, but agreed to wait in hopes of a resolution. The federal government has dispatched armored personnel carriers to strengthen security and combat banditry in Kebbi State. The state governor Nasir Idris made the announcement while inspecting the vehicles at the government house in Birnin Kebbi. The governor noted that Kebbi has been under constant attacks from bandits crossing over from Zamfara and Niger State, launching raids and retreating to their hideouts, stated that the deployment of the APCs would help deter further attack and protect lives and property. Meanwhile, troops of the Nigerian Army, supported by the Department of State Services, Intelligence and Hybrid Forces, have neutralized at least 45 terrorists during a gunfight in Ibiru Village, Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The operation followed a tip-off about an impending attack leading to destruction of dozens of motorcycles used by the bandits. 2 hybrid fighters died and 4 others were injured and hospitalized in the state capital. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast widespread rainfall and thunderstorms across various parts of the country from Monday to Wednesday, warning that flash floods are likely in vulnerable areas, especially those with poor drainage systems. According to its weather outlook released in Abuja, morning thunderstorms and moderate rainfalls are expected over parts of Jigawa, Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna, Bauchi, Yobe, and Katsina states in northern Nigeria, with the agency calling on residents to stay alert and prepared for possible weather-related disruptions. NIMET further advised motorists, outdoor workers, and general public to exercise caution during the heavy downpour period, and the rain may lead to reduced visibility, waterlogged roads, and traffic disruptions, emphasizing that this forecast is part of the ongoing national effort to strengthen disaster preparedness and public safety. You are watching the live broadcast of AM News. When AM News returns, crude oil prices rise after US-EU traffic deal, OPEC plus eyes output hike. Details coming shortly, plus sports and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is AM News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, President of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has described President Bola Tinubu as a listening president whose policy directions are reviving investor confidence in Nigerians' struggling economy and addressing long-standing crude oil supply bottlenecks. Dangote made the remark when the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, paid a working visit to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals, as well as Dangote Fertilizer Limited in Ibuju, Lekki, Lagos. Dangote applauded the federal government's recent interventions aimed at easing crude oil supply to local refineries, particularly commending the Naira for Crude initiative and Naira First policy as bold and transformative effort. The House of Representatives Committee on Renewable Energy has raised alarm over a 50% skill gap in Nigeria's renewable energy workforce. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Afam Ogene, disclosed this during the African Policy Dialogue in Abuja themed Green Jobs and Low Carbon Transition. Our National Assembly correspondent, Anita Patrick, reports.
According to Honorable Ogene, the shortage of skilled technicians and engineers is hindering growth in the sector despite Nigerians' renewable energy potential. He attributed the challenge not just to workforce deficits, but to weak policy frameworks and limited knowledge transfer. Honorable Ogene called on academic institutions to align their curricula with the demands of the green economy, adding that the National Assembly is working to enact effective legislation that supports green job creation, especially for youths and women.
It's good to look at the green jobs, but the green jobs need to be very decent.
Speaker of the House, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the Deputy Minority Whip, Honorable George Ozodinobi, affirmed the 10th Assembly's commitment to advancing green policies that tackle unemployment and promote clean energy.
We cannot be investing so much money into renewable energy and not turning that into gainful employment for our people.
Also speaking, Victoria Manya of the Include Knowledge platform stressed the need for inclusive climate policies, warning that without equity, the low-carbon transition could favor fossil fuel interests.
A just transition must not only reduce emissions, because if you look at it, what is the measure of Nigeria or Africa's contribution to the emissions? Very minimal and at best insignificant.
Some stakeholders agree that Nigeria stands at a crucial turning point where bold action on renewable energy can unlock jobs, empower communities, and protect the environment. Anita Patrick, Global Television News.
In sports stories now, President Bola Tinubu has bestowed the national honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger on the Super Falcons and the entire technical crew. He also allocated 3-bedroom apartments in Abuja to each of the players and the technical crew at the renewed Hope Estate. The president also directed the cash award of Naira equivalent to $100,000 each of the 24 players and $50,000 to each of the 11-men technical crew. This came during a reception in honor of the players at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Nigerian Football Federation has announced that the Super Eagles will take on South Africa in a crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match at the Toyota Stadium in Balafountain on September 9, 2025. Now, the stadium, which holds 46,000 spectators, is expected to be packed for the 4 p.m. GMT kickoff, which is 5 p.m. Nigerian time, in a match that could prove decisive for Group C's single qualification spot. The high-stakes clash will come just 3 days after Nigerian hosts Rwanda in another must-win qualifying encounter on September 6th. Emmanuel Michael and Chicago-based Adesua Osabuohen have won the men and women's single title respectively at the 46th edition of the CBN Senior Tennis Championship held at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Emmanuel defeated Prosper Okoye Okoye 7-5 to 6-6-3 in a hard-fought final, while Adesua came from a set down to beat Omotayo Blessing 3-6-5-1-6-4 in a thrilling showdown. CBN Deputy Governor Emem Usoro, represented by Acting Communications Director Hakama Sidi Ali, reaffirmed the bank's commitment to youth development through sports, highlighting the tournament's 40 years legacy and junior inclusion since 2006. As we end Global TV AM News, as it comes to an end, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and destruction caused by the recent flood in Yola, Adamawa State, and the boat mishap in Guinea Village, Niger State. And in business, the House of Representatives Committee on Renewable Energy has raised alarm over a 50% skill gap in Nigeria's renewable energy workforce. And on the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on the world to draw a line, declaring that hunger must never be used as a weapon of war. And finally, in sports, President Bola Tinubu has bestowed the National Honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger Falcons and the entire technical crew. And that's it on Global TV AM News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV AM. Jumai Manson, thank you for watching this Global Morning. Stay tuned.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to another wonderful day. It is, of course, Tuesday, and we are here this morning to bring you through so many things happening in Nigeria and outside the world. This is Global Morning on Global Television, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and of course, my colleague is here.
And of course, it's great to be here. I am Jumai Manson, and it's an amazing time to be here with you, Ramsey Enoch Agbo.
It's so amazing.
It's a beautiful Tuesday. The weather is beautiful. It's not raining yet, but we have cloudy skies according to NIMET. So we're expecting thunderstorms, rains in some parts of Nigeria. So everyone should be prepared when it comes to issues. Our working staffs out there. NIMET has said it also. Just be prepared to know that it's going to rain a bit today. There's going to be thunderstorm, but just know that it's all in due course.
Well, if you're going out, don't forget to go with an umbrella case. At least it's better to be prepared so that you're not taking on our words.
Very true. And
of course, let's move around Nigeria and see what is happening in the country. It is no longer news that Nigerians are still looking forward to seeing the lights at the end of the tunnel like it's been promised. But then I think the prices of staple food is dropping gradually. But someone says something. He said it's not just the dropping of the price, it's the money available to afford the staple food. And that's one other thing, because the salaries is not able to take people home anymore. They call it take home. The salary as it is for a lot of people is not able to take them home anymore because of the economic situation. Even though some economists have said, well, the economy is not doing badly as some persons are saying, but all things put together, what the average Nigerians believe and want to hear is that they can go to the market and whatever they have should be able to get them what they can eat and drink. That's the major thing Nigerians are looking for. We know, but then I think infrastructural development is on, and this administration is not doing badly in that area. And of course, primary health care in Abuja, and of course the primary education, the teachers, primary school teachers, and of course the primary health have been on strike in FCT. But then I think gradually they are returning back to work. The strike is being suspended for now. We're still waiting. We're keeping our fingers crossed to see what will happen. But the truth is this: how many lives do you think may have been lost at the cause of this strike action? Then you talk about the children that have been at home. How would they be able to meet up with their curriculum, returning back to school? Where are they going to start from? You know what it means for children to be at home for a very long time, then they get back to school. For some of them, it will appear as if they are starting all over again. True. But then, all the same, it's better late than never. At least they are back to school. The nurses, the doctors are also back to work at the primary health care. Well, kudos to the FCT minister, like he's been called Mr. Infrastructure. After the so many work, after this work that was done, the developmental projects in Abuja, I think the FCT minister is on break now. Though work is going on, but then projects that were commissioned, a lot of projects were commissioned, other projects are still coming up. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So many things happening in Nigeria. When it has to do with electricity, when it has to do with health, education, then you talk about
security.
Well, the issue of security in Nigeria, the insecurity situation in Nigeria, for some persons, they said it's like it is not as bad as it used to be. But then, we are not there yet. We are not there. Take Abuja, for instance. Someone was complaining a few days ago about the incidences in Abuja. You know, there was one time that the situation subsided a little bit. Now they are back again, especially for people who commute late hours into the night, you know, sometimes,
or early hours
of the day. Sometimes situation force you into commuting at these times that you can't help. And you see these people, the way they even, in fact, before now, if you see a woman in front and maybe two men at the back, you suspect, or you see someone carrying a baby, or an elderly woman or man sitting in front. You know, all these tactics, people have known about it, so they are even changing now. Sometimes they come full, you know, like, yeah, sometimes they come full, just one person remaining. Then the person who enters become a victim. Yeah, a lot of tactics. These people are changing their tactics
it's just
on a daily.
I see that's the high rate of poverty that one is talking about. When there's unemployment, people find criminal means of making money, of trying to survive, and this is what comes into play for one chance, you know, distorting individuals who are trying to make that good sense of livelihood for themselves. They fall into the hands of these criminal elements, and that is just it. They don't even care whether they have so much or little. All they want is either their phones, their ATM cards, and all of that encompassed. It's just unfortunate that it's because there's so much unemployment, there's no job opportunities for individuals, and the means of survival is very low. So this is what it is now.
That's what it is. And of course, the Super Falcons arrived Abuja yesterday.
Yes, they did.
At about 2:26 to 2:30 p.m. And I was there. The excitement, in fact, you can't quantify in words the excitement.
They made us proud.
The Minister of Aviation was there. The Minister of Information was there, and other government officials. You need to see the crowd. That's of Aviation, right there, Festus Keyamo, addressing the press. He was talking about the fact that that game, if you watch that game, because they were playing against Morocco.
Yes, they
and
were.
Morocco were playing at home, and Nigerians were playing, the Super Falcons were playing away. So the excitement is just like 11 players playing against thousands of fans and the players.
Yeah.
Because, I think the excitement, you know, someone said something yesterday and I was like, oh, wow, that's true. Someone was saying, well, he will never be poor in life, you know, declarations. Everybody was saying, oh, it's going to be a star, it's going to be a star. You know, we saw all of them, Echegini, we saw all of them, you know.
How was their reception though? The WAFCON, the individual, the women that went out to play, were they friendly? Were they happy?
They were dancing.
Oh my goodness!
Everything we see them do in Morocco is the same thing they were doing yesterday. The Minister of Information, that's the Minister of Information there, while addressing the press, he was saying, well, this is what's celebrating, and of course, very importantly, the president was eagerly waiting to receive them alongside with the First Lady. Really? And in fact, you need to see the excitement. They were dancing to the drums because usually the Super Falcons, they love celebrating. They were so friendly. Ablomta, the Oyibo, our Oyibo defender, we sang. People sang for her. Now Oyibo be this. So it was actually an exciting. It was an exciting moment, and as a matter of fact. They were received yesterday at the State House. The party, Teddy was there, you know. They partied, and so many things happened. They were awarded $100,000.
Yes, they
were. for each of the players.
Wow.
Then $50,000 for the officials, and a 3-bedroom at the
Renewed
Hope
Estate.
Yes,
Fantastic.
A 3-bedroom flat. I think this is encouraging.
It is.
This is encouraging.
And you know what, Ramsey? You know, according to the Pigeon Palace, our Oyibo amongst them, Plumter, that was amongst them, the one you mentioned. You know, it just shows that you can actually fulfill your passion as a footballer and still go to school.
Yes.
Going to school actually raised the bar. As in this, she's from Leeds University, and you know those are one of the renowned universities in America. And for her to be in school, a microbiologist, and yet still become a footballer, you know, the mindset here is once you're a footballer, that is it. Education has stopped. And people forget to plan after football, what next? And that's why you see individuals stranded along the line. You should have, education should be part of it. Education is never old. And that's why I stand here to promote that. Please, if you have children who are very passionate about football, encourage them to play their football, but at the same time, explain to them why education is the key. Because when Plumter is done with all of this and she decides to retire, she can still go back into her field of her discipline and still continue, and then she will not be stranded. And that's why if I take you back to our footballers that we have, Super Eagles, most of them, like Rashidi Yekini, those that have, you know, passed on, may they also rest in peace, it was a very sad tale how their lives were, because they put all their life, their effort in one particular skill, football, and they did not add education. It doesn't matter how big or how small. It goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
So it's just an eye-opener for parents to understand that as much as you want to encourage your kids to go into football, which is amazing of course they will excel in it once they are passionate and they are focused. At the same time, always hammer education. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. Let them just be part of that particular sector. Education is key, I tell people. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. Just make an effort, please.
Education is key, and ignorance is a padlock.
Yes, it is.
So that's what it means. The education is a key.
Just raise the bar.
Then ignorance is a padlock. Just hold you there. So, well, that's just a little word of inspiration for everyone out there who have a skill. Learn to diversify. We're in the world of tech.
Yes.
So diversification is even easier. I was going through the antecedents of the players like Azizat Oshola. She has won a lot of awards at the course of her career, and especially these ones that pledge allegiance to Nigeria. They have so many other things they are doing.
Yes.
Some are researchers, some are university, majority of them are university graduates.
Yes, they are.
So I think it's good. You've spoken well, because there is always a retirement time.
Of course.
And we're talking about sports. Yeah, we're talking about football. That comes with energy, that comes with agility.
Injury.
That comes with injury. Okay, talking about injury.
Comes with
Where's
injury.
Daniel Amokachi today?
Okay.
The Bull. Everyone remember what happened to the Bull. The Bull came up with force. But after that injury, I don't think he had a call-up anymore. Okay, until now, even though he just got a coaching job with Lobby Stars, but couldn't continue because of one thing or the other. But the most important thing is that you should not just put your eggs in one basket.
No, please don't.
Whatever you're getting today, $100,000, you know how much it is. If you want to quantify it in Naira, and if that money is invested, it's something. So
I wish you can calculate it and know how much it is.
Well, if you want to do that calculation, some people will abandon whatever it is they are doing, to just go start learning how to play football. Well, I think with all that being said, it's good for us to look at the fact that it is necessary for everyone, not just footballers, whatever you're doing, learn to diversify.
Have something by the side.
Have something by the side.
Very important.
Some people will even tell you one source of income is not even enough in Nigeria right now.
No, it's not.
Because anything can happen, especially civil servants. When I hear of pension not being paid, When I hear of pension not being paid, people going through screening, rigorous screening, all right, to get paid their pension. You see them on queue, some even fall sick, some slums, you know, and all of these things happening. That's to tell you that there's always the need for you to have a plan B as a civil servant.
Very important.
As it is being said in Nigeria that a lot of civil servants are redundant, why not use that time to do something, to learn a skill? It's never too late.
No, it's not.
I heard of someone who started school, I think at the age of, was it 30 or 40? You know, and before how many years, the person became a PhD holder. So it's never too late. You can still get back to the drawing board and do something.
And I understand that it's not everyone that have, people will say it's not everyone that has, let me use the Pigeon Palace now, have the head for school. It's not everyone that...
Learn a skill.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not everyone that we can actually sit down and read and pass exams. It's not everyone that has that type. People are gifted with skills. And learn a skill. Don't just focus on one thing that you're doing. If you're a footballer, great. But at the same time, let there be have something at the side, whether it's educational certificate that you can work with, or where you find yourself, or something else. You know, it's very important, or a trade or something. Learn something, very important, because one source of income in this present Nigeria, believe me, it doesn't go really far. So you have to invest, you have to, and this is another eye opener for individuals in this particular profession, footballers who are very lavish when it comes to, like, you see someone now with this $100,000 who will decide to squander it on things that are not of importance. Please invest.
Invest. Don't go for Lamborghini.
Please, for as much as you want to go for Lamborghini, but at the same time, you have to save for the rainy days. Very important that you invest. Please invest. It's very important.
Please invest,
because really
there is always a one day. Just prepare for that one day.
Really,
that one day is coming.
Invest as much as you can.
Okay, that's it. Let's quickly go on break. After this break, we'll return and look at the pages of the national dailies. And don't forget that, of course, we'll have two big conversations on Global Morning today, and Social Buzz will also be coming on your way. So now, let's go on a quick break. We'll return to bring you the weather report. After the weather report, we'll bring you the national dailies.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning and it's the newspaper review segment. And we're going to start with the first paper of the day. And we'll begin with the Nigerian News Direct. And the star story there says, WAFCON, Tinubu confers OON honors on Super Falcons, rewards players with $2.4 million houses. $2.4 million houses, and it says here below that, and that read you will find on page 5. And of course on page 5 again, Fayemi absent as Ekiti bigwigs endorsed Tinubu Oyebanji for second term. And it says Rear Nesco signed MOU on improving power supply to correctional centers. And it says here, doctors strike cripples services in Lagos hospitals as patients lament neglect. And you find that read on page 4. Transcorp Power PLC posts 77.6 billion naira profit, declares 11.25 billion naira interim dividend. Digital payments surged by 24.4% to 295.5 trillion naira in QI 2025. And that read you will find on page 14. Go out and get yourself a copy of the Nigerian News Direct. Next paper, Ramsey.
All right, let's quickly look at this day newspaper this morning. This day newspaper have some major headlines, and above the nameplate we have this headline which says e-payment transaction rise. Right, Daily Times. All right, let's look at the Daily Times. The Daily Times newspaper have this one which says above the nameplate, party membership, SDP denounces embargo El-Rufai for 30 years. Party membership, that's the kicker. SDP denounces embargoes El-Rufai for 30 years. That's an issue.
It is.
Right there. That is his own party, even though he's part of the coalition. Bandits killed 35 Zamfara villagers after receiving 50 million naira ransom. Details read on page 4. Now the big story says WAFCON 24 win. Tinubu rewards Super Falcons with national honors, $100,000 each, and houses. Details you can find on page 2. EFCC arrests 7 Chinese, 4 Nigerians for illegal mining in Akwa Ibom State. Details read on page 4. Some of these persons come to Nigeria and they do whatever they want to do. These are things you can hardly do in other places. Why mine without a mining license?
Exactly.
Just acquire the license. If you mean business and you know you are in Nigeria for business, do the right thing. ICPC begins prosecution of El-Rufai's aide, Jimmy Lawal, others in Kaduna. Details on page 5. INEC committed to electoral reform, regional democratic consolidation. Yakubu is the one saying that. Details on page 9. NCGC targets 100 billion naira credit guarantee to close MSME financing gap. Details on page 13. And of course, lastly, TED Fund inspect project execution at FCE Ebonyi. Details on page 5. All right, that's the size of the headlines on the Daily Times newspaper this morning.
All right, now the next paper is the Nation newspaper, and on page 2 of the Nation it says more cash for states from new VAT distribution plan, and that read you will find on page 2. Now on page 7 it says DSS-backed forces, soldiers kill 45 terrorists, and the writer says bandits slay 38 in Zamfara. Unfortunate incident there. And still on the Nation, on page 3 says President gives Falcom cash, houses National Ward of OON. And the star story on the Nation reads, Ekiti governors Ayedatiwa endorse Tinubu Oyebanji. And the writer reads, leaders across parties come together for President, Governor Fayemi absent as solidarity rally. And basically that is it on the Nation. Next is This Day.
All right, let's quickly go to This Day newspaper. This Day. All right, This Day newspaper says e-payment transaction rise 17.7% to 284.99 trillion naira in Q1 2025. And of course, we have one writer to that story. POS transaction hit 10.45 trillion naira, record 209% increase. That's to tell you of how much patronage the POS is having right now. And that's one of the things that has boosted the economy lately. NCDMB facilitates creation of over 50,000 jobs, 12 million training man hours. All right. Details you can find on page 5. And now Peter Obi is the kicker. President using misleading statistics to conceal economic hardship. The president using misleading statistics to conceal economic hardship. This is coming from Peter Obi. Now the big story says Tinubu rewards each Falcon player with $100,000, 3-bedroom flat, and national honor. We have some writers to that story. Recalls how his wife almost abandoned his dinner due to the tension-soaked match. The tension-soaked match. Meaning the president's wife abandoned dinner because the tension was so much. You know what it means to be 2 goals down. 2 goals down, then you come from behind to equalize and win that game. I think the president's wife is a passionate football lover, as the case may be. Probably because it was the Super Falcons.
I knew you were going to say that.
I've seen the reception yesterday, the way she received them, it was massive. All 36 governors gift 10 million each to players and technical crew.
Wow.
All the 36 governors gift 10 million each to players and technical crew. I don't know, is it that every governor is giving them 10 million naira, or all the 36 governors are awarding each of the players 10 million naira additional to the $100,000? Well, details of that you can find on This Day newspaper. And this one says our First Lady described players as role models, shining example of courage and excellence. Our team's victory is symbol of national unity, inspiration, triumph of belief, says Deco. All right, that's all from This Day newspaper as we move to the next paper.
All right, the next paper is the Nigerian Tribune, and above the nameplate of the Nigerian Tribune, it says here, First Bank retains top spot as Nigeria's best bank for ESG at 2025 Euro Money Awards. And then it says RESIEC fixes Rivers local government elections for August 30th amid concerns over extension of emergency rule. And that read you will find on page 4. Now, here it says millipedes may be source of new drugs to treat human pain. Okay. All right, we have to get a doctor to explain that to us. And below the nameplate, it says Tinubu rewards Super Falcons with $100,000 each. National honors houses each technical team member to get $50,000. NGF gives 10 million naira to each player. Now it says INEC chairman agitation for Yakubu's successor swells. And it says here there's some riders there, and it reads North Central should get slots. That's from MBF and others. Another rider reads each Southeast South deserve the position. That's from Ubani, ex-NBA VP. President's power to appoint chairman, major Nigeria's paradox. Former Ohaneze spokesman. All INEC needs is a man with integrity. That's from Professor Adeyeye. Zone of the next chairman, not too important. That's ex-governor, ex-Kogi speaker. And all these read you will find on page 15. Now, below that it says Ekiti stands still as political heavyweights endorse Tinubu Oyebanji for second term. And the writer says President, Governor are good products, says Aida Tiwa Fayoshe, and that's on page 16. Police arrest housewife for faking own kidnap. Is she kidding me right now? And it says husband pays 3 million naira ransom. I wanted to use the money to recoup the 3.6 million naira loan spent on my wedding. Oh my goodness. This is a very sad read. Did you hear that?
For her wedding.
Oh my God. He wanted to pay back, as in to come back. Oh my goodness. This is such a sad read. What? Ah, gosh. That woman, I don't know. What is wrong with some women?
But you need to look at that. You need to look at that. Who spent the 6 point something?
He did.
The husband.
Of course, he did.
And he was not ready to pay back.
No, he was. He actually took, let's say he spent over 3 point, like a loan. Now to recoup, to pay back, he had 3 million naira. So he has been saving, and then she pretended as if she was kidnapped. And then he had to pay that ransom. And that's why he said that he wanted to use that money to pay the 3.6 million naira he collected just to marry this woman. Are you kidding me?
So he now got the woman, the money from, I don't know.
No, God is so great. You see, this how God is so kind that
they borrowed 6 million naira
to marry
her,
exactly,
to wed her.
Exactly.
So she now faked her own kidnap.
Yes.
Then the husband had to pay a ransom.
She faked her own kidnap, and they were asking for 3 million naira.
And who paid the 3 million naira?
The husband.
And the same husband that was supposed to pay the loan.
Exactly.
So why fake if your husband have the 3 million naira? Why not? Is it that the husband is refusing to pay?
No.
Why would she fake her kidnap?
Let me explain to you about greed. You see, this is greed now. The woman knew that her husband was actually saving to pay that money. So, because maybe she wanted to, maybe, there are some women that are very extravagant, who don't even care how the husband survives or gets the money from. She doesn't care, as long as she buys whatever she wants. So that was the only way to sap the money out of him, to lie that.
Okay, the money that the husband wants to use to pay
wedding loan, yes.
So she faked her kidnaps.
Exactly.
Then the husband used that money for her ransom.
Exactly.
That woman should be meant to face the wrath of the law.
You don't have to say it in that manner. Well, I just feel it is so sad. I think, you see, that's the thing. When you do not marry someone that you love, you see, if you marry your friend, or like back in the day, our parents, it's not that they really, they grew to love themselves, because the man showed that he gave her that honor and said, okay, fine, I will I will teach you how to love me. And then they grew, and that's why you see our parents, they've stayed there like 60 years, 65 years, they're still married.
But I think right now, we can't run a conclusion, because that's a corny woman. That's an evil woman.
That's what I'm telling
Only
you.
Only God knows how long she has pretended.
I'm getting somewhere.
To the man.
That's what I'm saying. Some now, maybe because of his money, she decided to marry him, but there's no love. So if you don't love someone, you would make his life miserable.
So how would someone on earth take a loan of 6 million naira
that
to
is
finance
so,
a wedding?
Gosh, this is...
What point are you trying to prove? If you don't have it, you don't have it.
You see, some
and
men,
if she loves you, no matter how the wedding is.
Exactly, you
this
don't
wedding
care.
we're talking about is a matter of us. And it will be a thing of the past.
This is so sad.
So men also need to be wise. And men also need to know what they want.
But the truth is...
And the women must also need to know that there is life after the painting, the hair, and everything.
Ramsey.
Because you need to actually be alive to do all of that.
But you know, let me tell you something. There are some women who are worth spending that kind of money on, those that are very kind.
But you don't need to break a bank to do that.
I know. There are some that will not even want you to break a bank because she truly loves you. There are some that won't even care whether, as long as you're together. See, that's the thing. Most individuals
I would love to know what she wants to do with it.
I swear, I'm going to go pick up this copy.
Yeah, I really want to know. I'm curious. I really want to know what she is going to do with the 3 million.
You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. I've heard stories of a woman who has actually used her money to buy things for the wedding to shop. She opened up a big shop for her parents, and the guy, oh God, you hear stories. It's just
she got money from the man.
Yes, to buy things for the wedding, and then she used it to open a shop for her parents.
Okay, she claimed she wanted to use the money to buy things for the wedding.
That was the agreement.
Then diverted the money.
Yes, and
to open a shop.
Opened up a shop.
You go marry your parents and the shop. If I discover.
Calm down, Ramsey. Calm down. Calm down. There's some men that are just so
there's
kind.
no need to stay with a woman because your life is more important.
Okay.
We've had situations of
right.
a man sleeping at night and he's been stabbed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. To death and all of that. It's because the love is not there.
It's okay.
There is no need forcing yourself on someone that doesn't love you.
Exactly.
Because your life, you need to be alive to even stay in the marriage.
So men, are they really in love or obsessed? Some are just
obsessed.
Both sides. Why are you obsessed about someone who doesn't care about you when there's someone out there who loves you the way you are, who doesn't? Oh God! But this is so sad. It's a very sad.
I think wisdom is profitable to the rest. You need to be wise, but then you also need to know that you must be alive before you stay in a marriage.
And please, women,
you need to know what love is. Love. There's a thin line between love and infatuation.
Yeah.
So this is something you need to actually define very well and know what you want in a woman.
And then the truth is, character, they say, is like smoke. You see, to get to this point of you marrying her, she must have exhibited this particular traces at the beginning of courting. When a woman who is not considerate, for instance, you have, I'm just giving an instance, you have 5,000 naira and she expects you to give her 4,500, really. And there are women like that who wants to take everything. So please, you should know. Sometimes you have to use your brain. Sometimes your heart will just direct you to the wrong thing. So use your brains. But this is such a sad read. This is a very sad read. I'm so heartbroken by it. All right. Basically, that is all on the Nigerian Tribune. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed on these headlines making rounds. Next, we have The Punch.
All right. Let's look at The Punch and see how punchy it is this morning. But then, I think that headline caught me right there.
Calm down.
That headline caught me.
Calm down, Ramsey. Calm down.
Like, seriously.
I know. Calm down.
That headline caught me. All right. Let's look at the Punch newspaper right now. And on the Punch, beginning from the big story. The big story says, Electricity Act Amendment Bill. Federal government sell in Super Falcons. All right, details read on page 46. U.S. bet tourism crackdown sparks Nigerian hospital reforms call. Donald Trump doing so many things. The fear of Donald Trump is the beginning of wisdom. If you don't put your hospital in order, the issue of running to go give birth abroad in the name of I want my baby to be a citizen of the United States, it's no longer there. U.S. birth tourism crackdown sparks Nigerian hospital reforms call. Reform our hospitals. Let's have something that equate what is abroad. Federal government launches crackdown on MDAs after 300% surge in impress claims. Details you can find on page 38. Then this one says that 2027, that's the kicker. APC kicks as opposition backs single day poll. Details on page 2, single day poll. All right, let's see how that is going to go. More headlines still coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. Lassa fever death toll rises to 152 amid 811 cases. Page 24 is where you find that. Then this kicker says states versus discourse. New electricity law unleashes widespread crisis. All right, new electricity law unleashes widespread crisis. Details you can find on page 7. And GAC in turmoil as faction move to sack Lagos APC chairman. There was a protest. People want the chairman out of office. If you want to know why, pick a copy of the Punch newspaper. On page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper, we have this story, which is saying cheating. Ondo girl nabbed for stabbing boyfriend to death. Well, I don't want to talk much about the issue of marriage and relationship this morning because it's going to take a whole lot of time. Nurses strike to hit hospital nationwide Wednesday. Nurses strike is expected to hit hospitals nationwide on Wednesday. We've been hearing of doctors. Now it's nurses. All right. That's the size of the headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning as we move to the next paper.
All right, the last paper on the newspaper review segment is The Leadership, and above the nameplate it says Ekiti endorses Tinubu Oyebanji for second term. Death toll in Adamawa flood hit 23, and that read you will find on page 10. Now, below the nameplate it says Nigeria loses 17.9 trillion naira annually to hepatitis, and that's from the federal government. And the Star story reads, 2 Southeast governors will join us, ADC. And it says, crisis brews in Kaduna SDP as party bans El-Rufai for 30 years. And that read you will find on page 4. Now, below that, beside it, it says, Northern Christians allowed Tinubu back Professor Yelwata as APC chair. And that read is on page 24. Dropped luggage. Foreign local airlines must pay $170, 10,000 naira compensation, says NCAA. I think that's an amazing step in the right direction. Once you drop a luggage or you forget to pick a passenger's luggage, you pay this compensation fee. It's very important. And that read you will find on page 25. Now, Kebbi acquires 2.7 billion naira exercise books for schools. And that's on page 19. Now, still on the leadership, it says nurses, midwives set to begin 7-day strike tomorrow. And that read you will find on page 10. Now, UN Summit, Nigeria banking on AI to end hunger, says Shetima, and that is on page 16. And of course, that's the side of the newspaper review segment on Global Morning this beautiful Tuesday morning. And remember, all the editorial judgment of this newspaper, Global Television has not added or subtracted to it. We just read as it is. Stay with us. Up next is the social buzz. Let's hear what the internet has in stock for us with Ogochukwu Mogono. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Good morning, the Global Morning crew, and good morning to you, my viewers. I am Obachukwu Mobana. So today we'll be looking at what's buzzing on the internet. So today, bride who borrowed 3.6 million naira from her brother to organize her bridal shower stages her own kidnap so as to raise money to pay up the loan. The Delta State Police Command has arrested a suspected fake kidnapper and her accomplices. The spokesperson of the command, SP Bright Edafe, while confirming the arrest to newsmen, said on July 21st, the command received a report of a kidnapping incident involving a female victim who was abducted by unknown armed men in the Bonsak area of Asaba. Edafe said while acting promptly on the report, the Commissioner of Police, CP Olufemi Abangwanda, directed the Commander Special Anti-Kidnapping and Cybercrime Squad, CSP Godwin Osadolo, to ensure that the victim is rescued unhurt. Acting on this directive, the command led operatives and launched a coordinated, intelligence-driven operation through diligent investigative efforts and strategic development. The operatives apprehended one Alfred Elisha at Koka Roundabout, Asaba, and another suspect, Ugochukwu Adim, of DLA Road, Asaba, on 22nd July 2025 at about 9 hours upon arrest of the suspects. He confessed that it was not a case of an actual kidnapping but a plot between the victim and himself. His revelation led to the arrest of the other suspect named Merit Ele, aged 29 years old. She confessed that the money loaned by her brother of about 3,600,000 naira, she used it to sponsor her bridal shower and hotel expenses during her wedding, which took place in March 2025. She further stated that she faked her kidnap and received a ransom of 3 million naira and gave her accomplices 500,000 naira, and she took 2,500,000 naira for herself. Edafe added that all suspects involved have been arrested and the investigation is ongoing. Now, this is where this is the part where I say you are being pressured by peer group, or will I say the internet is pressuring some people to do what they are not supposed to do. But I'll be leaving you to at least watch this short clip.
This week, that is, what's that date?
20th.
On the 20th of this month, July 2025, she told her husband she was coming, and the next thing we heard was that she has been kidnapped. The ransom money was paid. The ransom of how much? 3 million naira was paid. But the husband did not give up. The husband followed up with the case he had already reported at the State Special Anti-Kidnapping and Cybercrime Squad, and will continue to work until we arrested one of the suspects who eventually let the cat out of the bag. Now, you say your name is what? Merit. Okay, Merit. That money, the money you were saying your brother gave to you, what did you use it for?
I used it for my bridal shower.
Okay, make your answer very short, not stress me. You used it for your bridal shower.
Yes, sir.
So what now happened next? Your brother was asking you for the money.
Yes, sir.
So when he was asking for the money, what did you come do?
I was just thinking of a way to raise the money, and I didn't see any way to.
So what did you come do?
So I now masterminded the plan to forge that I was kidnapped.
You masterminded the plan to say you were kidnapped?
Yes, sir.
With who and who?
Peter and...
you don't know the other one then? Where you from know Peter?
He works at where I was staying before. And
Wow, that's a serious case. It is a serious case. Thank God the police were actually on top of their game. And again, the husband further pushed for further investigation even after paying the ransom of 3 million naira. The husband did not only pay the ransom, he paid it alongside her elder brother, whom she actually allegedly collected 3.5 million naira earlier for her bridal shower. That 3.5 million naira wasn't supposed to be for bridal shower, but was meant to buy a tricycle, which the brother actually gave her for his own use, and she used it for bridal shower. What form of peer pressure can this be? We'll be taking comments from social media as regards this issue, and our first comment is coming from Isaac Sunday 1993, and Isaac said, I would rather remain unmarried if I'm to borrow to sponsor my wedding. I would rather borrow for survival and not for merriment. Exactly. She didn't even borrow for renting a house or even for a business that you know is going to further bring you more money. you borrowed just to treat people or to make people feel like your wedding is the best. And this is where we are getting it wrong. The youth of these days really need to cut their coats according to their sizes. Well, the second comment is coming from El Proxy. And El Proxy says, the only person that truly loves you as a person is your mother. Every other person, including your wife, is just pretending to leave you. Wow. To love you, I think he was supposed to say there. So every other person is pretending to love you. I don't know, even mothers these days, we get to hear things that mothers do things to their children. But I know 100% for sure that a lot of mothers really, you cannot carry your child for that long after training the child for that long and still not love your child. But then overall, I would tell you, only God got your back at this point, because mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, they can actually hurt you. So you just have to look up to God, the author and finisher of your faith. Well, the last but not the least comment is coming from Joy Austin 4743, and Joy says, if they can fake kidnapping, then they will probably kidnap others in future or have kidnapped in the past. Well, they say an apple doesn't fall from the tree. If this person can fake her own kidnap, collect ransom from her husband, who might be struggling, and even from the brother whom she actually offended at first, you know, just to bail herself out of this kind of trouble, then who knows, things like this might happen. Who knows? Allegedly, things like this might really happen. I know you're itching to comment. Do not worry, drop your comments using the social media handles you're seeing right here on your screen and be part of this conversation. I really want to see your comment. I want to take them, because this can be laughable, but it is not really laughable, because it gets to show that she doesn't really love her husband. She only did that for the show of it. She just wanted to have a big marriage or a big wedding, and not the love she has for her husband. Well, we'll be taking those comments, and here I'm going to be leaving you to the Global Morning crew as Global Morning still continues. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television. And this is the first discuss of the day. Now, have you heard of agricultural revolution? in Nigeria. Now, if you're wondering what that is all about, we all know about the food scarcity when it comes to insecurity and food in some parts of Nigeria. Looking at Benue State, for instance, where herders invaded the town, known as the food basket of the nation. So many places when it comes to farmers being limited to their crops and leading to inflation when it comes to food. Now, today on Global Morning, I am being joined by engineer Kashif Shedder. He is the head of international business, and he will elaborate on what agricultural revolution in Nigeria is all about, that food intervention on the program Global Morning. But let's quickly take a quick look at a video intimating us on what this is all about before my guest comes in to explain to us. Stay tuned.
Innovation was born before the world even dreamt of it. From the invention of zero, the surgical marvels of Sushruta, from urban water systems of the Indus Valley, to root steel, navigation, and precision in astronomy, India didn't just survive history, India defined it. And today, the same spirit of invention is reborn in the fields, in the mills, in the grains that feed the world. APIT, Agri-Process Innovation Technologies, is carrying forward the legacy of Bharat's brilliance in paddy and rice technology. Innovation after innovation. APIT has redefined parboiling by engineering a world-first 6-color rice classification, a quantum leap in food safety and consumer satisfaction. With super aging technology, we bring 10 months of natural grain aging in just 10 hours, preserving nutrition, flavor, and profitability. The Gel Cook invention revolutionizes starch gelatinization with unmatched consistency, giving rice that perfect bite and aroma. From hybrid dryers to AI/ML-powered drying architecture, to pros to IMOS, complete process automation in paddy thermal treatment and intelligent rice milling. We've made machines intelligent and rice mills futuristic. And now, the world will witness this revolution. On August 23rd, 2025 at Hyderabad, the grain revolution begins. Come, see where tradition meets technology, where India's ancient soul powers the global food future. APIT, the powerhouse of rice technology. India, the power of rice.
Alright, you're welcome back from that very short clip, and I'm still looking at agricultural revolution in Nigeria. And like I mentioned before, I have my guest here is engineer Kashif Shedder, and he is the head of international business. Good morning, engineer Kashif. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Jumia. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I know when you say namaste, you have to do this. Namaste.
Yes, namaste to you and all your viewers.
Oh, thank you so much. Namaste. Back to you. Now, explain to us what the agriculture revolution in Nigeria is all about. What does it portray? What does it mean?
Okay. Before we get to that, let me quickly add to what video we just saw.
Okay.
So we APIT, Agri-Process Innovations Technology. So we are pioneers in food processing technology, and we specialize in paddy rice processing.
Okay.
And we've been doing business here in Nigeria since the last 5 years.
Okay.
And the current, the video that you saw, the 23rd August event that we have, so that is the current technology, latest technology that we have come up, cutting edge technology with regard to AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning in rice milling technology, which is a first. Because, you know, for any factory, any food production factory, what do you require? You know, you require, of course, the raw material and state-of-the-art technology to ensure that you have seamless operations, very good quality of output, consistent quality of output, and of course, profitability. So all this is being ensured through this, you know, latest machineries that we are coming up. And as I'm telling, this is a first in the world. AI ML driven rice milling machines. This is the first, and which is why we are calling this a revolutionary technology, and which is why we are also calling this grain revolution. And it's a global launch of this, you know, eventful journey for us, along with all our well-wishers on the 23rd of August in Hyderabad, India.
Okay. Now, why rice? Is it because rice is a staple food here in Africa, or why rice? Or you have a special preference when it comes to the food?
Right. So rice, that's a very good question. Rice is a staple food for majority of the people in the world. And so it's the case with India and Africa as well.
Of course.
And of course in Nigeria as well. Now you were asking about, you know, the rice revolution in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Now, rice revolution or the green revolution, I'm sorry, the agricultural revolution or the green revolution was started as early as the 1980s in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
And it's been going on, and government after government, you know, they're doing a very good job. Now, when you start a revolution, usually, you know, people in their mind, they have this misconception that something will happen overnight. That's not the case, because when you're talking about agriculture, agriculture is the lifeline of a country.
Yes, it is.
And ensuring food security, no, that is, you know, it's like the bedrock for ensuring, you know, good nation building. So these are very, very, you know, critical and big things, and nothing happens overnight, right? So we need to ensure that, you know, I'm on air?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to ensure, you know, that people are aware of what exactly, you know, is this agricultural revolution or, you know, rice revolution that we are talking about. Yeah.
I'm glad you elaborated on the agricultural revolution and the key objectives of agricultural revolution, of course, in Nigeria. Now, what are the different agricultural policies and programs implemented by the Nigerian government that can actually promote the agricultural revolution in Nigeria?
Right. So, as I was telling you, the Green Revolution started in 1980s in Nigeria.
Okay.
And it started around in the 60s, 1960s in India. So, those few decades, the world over, we saw Green Revolution. And from there on, the baton has been taken and development is happening. Now, there are very good policies in every country, and for that matter, even in Nigeria. So all that matters is the implementation, the last mile execution of, you know, those policies. To name few very good policies, you know, you have this ATA, Agricultural Transformation Agenda. So that was started around a couple of decades back. And as part of the Green Revolution, as an extension of Green Revolution that's been ongoing. And you also have the National Rice Development Strategy, NRDS.
Okay.
So this is the second phase of NRDS. And it's so heartening to see that, you know, today Nigeria is becoming self-reliant in rice production. Until a decade ago, you know, this was just a dream.
Yes, it was.
But today, when you look at those sacks of rice, which has this, you know, a stamp on it that it's proudly Nigerian, when you see that flag, and our customers, you know, our Nigerian customers who have taken our machinery, when I go and meet them, you know, when I go and see their employees, their owners, the pride that I see in them, is amazing. It's very heartening, you know. So, but however, there are few things that more things can be done with regard to this. We'll discuss about that in due course of time today,
of course,
because that is very, very critical. But having said that, you know, these are some of the policies which the government is giving a lot of impetus. They're doing a good job. But however, here one other very important point that I want to highlight is the importance of public-private partnership, PPP. So this is very, very critical. And also, most of your viewers may be aware that majority of the rice mills have closed down in Nigeria in the last 1 year.
Yes, they have.
The reason why they were closed down is because there was opening of importing of rice from outside Nigeria.
Very true.
And government was forced to take that action because of mad increase of price of rice. 50 kg bag of rice had reached more than 100,000 nairas.
Very true.
The minimum wage of a person in Nigeria monthly salary is 70,000 nairas.
Yes, it is.
Let's say he has a family of around 4-5 people. That 50 kg bag rice may last for around 3 months or so. Not even 3 months. So which means, you see, 70,000 is the minimum wage of someone, and the rice, 50 kg bag of rice, even if it lasts for 1 to 2 months at most, then it's very unfair. So government had to intervene and open up rice import in the interest of people. But however, this cannot go in the long run. You cannot have this as a solution, because this 10 years effort that Nigeria has put in making Nigeria self-reliant in rice production will be negated if this importing of rice continues. So what I would suggest the government, as a well-wisher, what I would suggest is, what government needs to do is they have to actively involve the Rice Millers Association of Nigeria in policy making. And the Rice Millers Association of Nigeria should be a lot more accountable from their end in ensuring that there is no mad increase of price of rice in the interest of people and nation building.
Interesting. Now, looking at that critically, when you say mad increase of rice, but don't you think, because rice is with you now coming in now, rice is going to be produced here in Nigeria, right? So would there be mad increase, like you mentioned, if it's going to be produced here, bringing the Rice Millers Association? How would that, the effect of it, how will it impact us as Nigerians and as Nigeria?
No, the thing that we APIT are bringing to the table as part of this green revolution through our green revolutionary technology is the technology cutting edge. So what we are bringing to the table is state-of-the-art technology which will reduce your dependence on manual labor, inconsistency in work, lack of transparency, and it will ensure reduced processing time. So instead of getting 1 or 2 batches in a day, you can get more than 3-4 batches of rice produced in rice mill through our state-of-the-art technology, consistent output. So we are the technology partners, and as well-wishers we can make few suggestions to both parties. As a well-wisher of the government and also the well-wisher of our customers who are part of the Rice Millers Association, because we are seeing things at the grassroots, some of the problems, and it will be unfair if we don't voice out certain things, because business, it's important for every one of us, but at the end of the day it is what value we bring to a society.
Very true.
So as someone who's a well-wisher for in the benefit of the society, we wanted to highlight these points. And so you were asking about how would our technology ensure that there is balance in
the
price.
Impact. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So let's say for $1 that you're spending today, you are able to manufacture, let's say, just for an example, let's say 1,000 bags of rice, for let's say $1,000, just for an example I'm saying, but let's say for the same $1,000 you are able to manufacture 2,000 bags of rice. Isn't it economical, more profitable for you?
Yes,
and the end consumer will also benefit because the price will be lesser, right? Now, having said that, not everything boils down to the technology in the rice mills, because the raw material that you feed into the rice mill is the paddy. And the paddy comes from the fields, the farms, and farm mechanization is equally important. And that is something which government should take a lot more cognizance of, and give a lot more impetus. Because we are also working with many federal ministries, including the Agri Ministry. So we are aware of the wonderful work, the federal ministry is putting. But however, there is a lot of scope for improvement, and that improvement, of course, would come with technology. Intervention through technology.
Exactly.
And public-private partnership, again, will be the game changer.
All right, you spoke about technology. I want you to expand shades on what are the roles of technology and innovation in driving the agricultural revolution in Nigeria.
Super. So technology is the game changer, as I said.
Yes, you did.
And technology, right from farm to fork, plays a role in the entire value chain. Now, let's say the kind of population surge that we are seeing across the world and also in Nigeria, right? So, to cater to the demand, you need to ensure that, you are producing more. Now, if you're not mechanizing your farms, then how will you be able to, meet the increase in the demand, right? So, when you mechanize farming, that's when you can produce at large scale and you can sustain it. You need not, go back to importation of rice. That again will kill this entire effort, decade-long effort that Nigeria has put in making itself, self-reliant in rice production. Okay. Right. So that is with regard to the field. This is just mechanization. When I mean mechanization of farm, it is not only usually people get this idea of using tractors.
Exactly.
And all. Not only that. These days you have AI-enabled technology in everything, including irrigation system as well, including selecting high-yielding varieties of seeds.
Okay.
So there is agricultural science has gone way ahead. Okay.
But I want you to understand something, Kashif, Engineer Kashif.
Yeah.
Most of the farmers here in Nigeria, they're not literate. They are individuals who have not gone to the four walls of the university. Some, I would say. Yeah. But they put in so much hard work when it comes to agriculture. Now, to delve into that, now, what could be the challenges for agricultural revolution in Nigeria, looking at the fact that most of these farmers are not used to AI technology. They're not used to the inventions, innovations, or this particular intervention when it comes to farming of rice, which is a staple food in Nigeria.
Super. I'm glad that you asked this question. But to be very frank, most of the farmers across the world are not that educated.
Sure.
However, AI is extremely user-friendly. It is not to scare away the end user at all. It in fact makes the end user so well connected with technology that he or she need not be extremely literate. They will. It's just like using a smartphone. Even a farmer working in the field these days, they would have a smartphone, and they would know how to use a smartphone, how to use a YouTube, watch videos on the YouTube.
Okay.
Most of them. So technology is very, very user friendly. Having said that, nothing, as I mentioned at the start of the program, nothing happens in revolution, nothing happens overnight like this.
Very true.
So we need to put that consistent effort. Now let me give you an example of, because you were asking about the challenges, right?
Yes.
So I was interacting with a very senior official in the Agri Ministry, and he was actually citing few challenges. He was very positive about the development that's been happening, but at the same time when we were discussing about the challenges, then he was telling that there are many schemes through which let's say some farmer benefits. But there have been instances where, let's say, a machinery was given to a farmer, but that farmer unfortunately sold that machinery for personal gains and in fact didn't even use it for farming. So the biggest challenge with regard to this revolution, for that matter, any revolution anywhere in the world, boils down to the will. So not only political will, the will of people in general. Because I personally believe that skill follows will. If there is will, skill will follow. If there is will, success will follow. So if there is a will, a strong will to make it happen, then over a period of time we all will act together as catalysts in making things happen. But otherwise, if there's no will, then be it political will, the leadership will, or will from general people as well. Because let's say, as people, if someone is not accountable to, let's say someone has got a machinery from government and they're not using it, they're selling it off. So that person doesn't have any authority or right to question the government for development.
Very true.
So first we have to introspect as people, are we accountable? Now, do we have the will? If yes, then, that's the change. Okay, but if it's not there, then we know what we need to do. So it's a collective change, and this will be the biggest hindrance for any revolution. As you can check history, the lack of will is the biggest hindrance in any revolution. But if there is will, then definitely over a period of time we will see improvement.
And just to add to what you've said, if there is a will, there is a way.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go on a very quick break. We're going to watch the video again, and then when we come back, I'm going to ask Engineer Kashif some questions regarding the agricultural revolution in Nigeria. Stay tuned.
Was born before the world even dreamt of it. From the invention of zero, the surgical marvels of Sushruta, from urban water systems of the Indus Valley, to root steel, navigation and precision in astronomy, India didn't just survive history, India defined it. And today, the same spirit of invention is reborn in the fields, in the mills, in the grains that feed the world. APIT, Agri-Process Innovation Technologies, is carrying forward the legacy of Bharat's brilliance in paddy and rice technology. Innovation after innovation. APIT has redefined parboiling by engineering a world-first six-color rice classification, a quantum leap in food safety and consumer satisfaction. With super aging technology, we bring 10 months of natural grain aging in just 10 hours, preserving nutrition, flavor and profitability. The Gel Cook invention revolutionizes starch gelatinization with unmatched consistency, giving rice that perfect bite and aroma. From hybrid dryers to AI/ML-powered drying architecture, to pros to IMOS, complete process automation in paddy thermal treatment and intelligent rice milling. We've made machines intelligent and rice mills futuristic. And now, the world will witness this revolution. On August 23rd, 2025 at Hyderabad, the grain revolution begins. Come, see where tradition meets technology, where India's ancient soul powers the global food future. APIT, the powerhouse of rice technology. India, the power of rice.
All right, you are welcome back from that very short break, and still talking about the agricultural revolution in Nigeria. And I am not doing it alone. I have Engineer Kashif Shedrau here with me, and he is the head of international business. All right, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Now let's talk expatiate more on the technology. I really need to understand that. So many individuals out there, what's the technology all about? From your company, how did it evolve? How would it make impact and impute? How will I, as a Nigerian, feel the impact when it comes to staple food like rice? Because rice is one of our staple foods that we all love. There's something called, have you heard of Sunday rice? You eat rice every Sunday. Yes. So talk more about the technology and your company.
Absolutely. And in fact, we Indians, we love rice as much as you Nigerians love your jollof rice.
Exactly. Have you had jollof rice?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. So it's very similar to the biryani that we prepare in India.
Oh, okay.
So if you haven't, you should definitely try
I
the
will
biryani.
be trying that.
Yeah,
I will
very
try.
aromatic, similar to jollof rice.
Okay.
Yeah. So the technology, rice is the staple food for majority of us in the world. And there is one misconception with regard to rice consumption that when you consume rice, you may get diabetic. So that's a myth. That's a misconception again.
Really?
Yes.
But it's carbohydrates, and people say it's true. You have
Yes.
to be careful.
Yes, of course. So anything overdone, of course, it impacts you. But it all depends on the kind of rice that you're choosing, the way you're cooking it, and how much you're having it and how you're having it. So we'll discuss about this and how our technology ensures in solving this entire thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So the paddy grain that is used to process rice. So in fact, it has life. It's a seed, and it has a life in it.
Really?
Yes, and it's a very, very big responsibility for someone like us who's giving a machinery to a rice mill owner to handle life. That paddy has life. And when resources are valuable and scarce, you cannot, of course, afford to waste it, right? So you need to ensure that it's handled very well, efficiently, transparently, ensuring good return on investment. So that again our technology does. So in paddy rice processing, there are two segments. One is the parboiling, and the second is the milling, rice milling.
Okay.
Now Indians and Nigerians, most of us, we like to consume parboiled rice.
Of course.
We are smart because parboiled rice is a lot more nutritious as compared to the raw rice, which is consumed in the other parts of the world, especially China and other parts. So they consume more of white raw rice. Okay, but in India and Nigeria, most of the African countries, we like the parboiled rice. Now the parboiled rice, for the benefit of the viewers who may not know, so the parboiled rice, the reason why it is nutritious is because in the parboiling process, which I'm going to explain very quickly now, what happens is the bran, the outer layer of the bran, which surrounds the grain kernel, the paddy, so that is infused through heat treatment inside the grain kernel. The bran is infused inside the grain kernel. So you have all the nutrients in the bran. So that is infused inside the grain kernel, which is why the parboiled rice is a lot more nutritious. But in the raw rice, you just mill it and you peel off the bran. You're not using the bran, which is why you're losing out all the nutrition. Right? So in parboiled rice, what you're doing is, which is why the first stage in any rice mill, especially here in Nigeria, is you have a parboiling plant. And parboiling plant in its true spirit has to be 3-stage. That is, stage 1 is, you do pre-steaming, you do a bit of steaming, pre-steaming, and then you soak the paddy in water at a particular temperature. It depends on the variety and the end output that you want.
True.
So because we have fully automated parboiling plant with recipe management. So you can actually select the final output that you want. Let's say you want ivory or you want golden yellow. You select that and it will show you the process parameters to be used for parboiling, including the temperature and the time that you need to soak the paddy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the soaking is the second stage, and the third stage is the post-steaming. And finally, you do the drying. And in this pre-steaming, post-steaming, we use our patented technology called the gel cook technology.
Gel cook.
Which ensures 360 degrees cooking of this every grain, which ensures that that bran that I was talking about is infused fully inside the rice kernel, and there is color consistency as well, ensuring excellent quality, nutritious parboiled rice, lustrous finish, just like a pearl.
Okay, just like a pearl.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the parboiling technology, and as I said, it's fully automated. And our drying technology, many of the so-called machinery people whom we actually don't consider as our competitors at all, because we're in a totally different league. So we are focusing at, as I told you, revolutionary technology in rice milling.
You said.
Enabled by AI and ML. So this is the first in the world. And this is a game changer, path-breaking technology.
And it's healthy.
Very healthy, of course, because
and it's safe.
Yes. And the drying time, usually the other machineries that you use, you have drying time once this 3 stage is done. Pre-steaming, the soaking and the post-steaming is done. The drying usually takes around 10, 12, 13, 14 hours in other machineries. Ours as less as 8 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Which means if you're running your factory 24 hours, you will end up getting 3 batches. So that's what I told during our discussion, that technology ensures lot more productivity for you.
You said.
Ensuring, profitability.
Now, I want to ask a question. I would really need to chip this in. For as much as it's going to give you, like you mentioned, the golden brown, the color that you want, pearl, like you mentioned, will it actually give me long grain or short grain rice?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on the variety that the paddy variety that you're using.
Okay.
So in Nigeria, it's usually medium to long grain rice that we use, the farro variety.
Exactly.
So because that's the variety you're feeding in, so of course that will ensure that you're getting a longer grain or medium grain rice.
Okay.
Like for instance, in India we have hundreds of other varieties. So you have short grain, medium grain, long grain, different varieties, the basmati. So depending on the variety of paddy that you're choosing, that's how you get the output. Yeah.
Okay. Now with your machines, can it stand the test of time? It's not something that, I know you've been here in Nigeria for 5 years, you've mentioned. And of course you've been doing this beautiful innovation when it comes to AI and you mentioned ML.
Yeah.
Now, there have not been any challenges along the line. Has it been smooth sailing? Will this actually stand the test of time when it comes to the agricultural sector?
Absolutely, absolutely. So before I get into this, with your permission, very quickly I would want to complete what I was talking about with regard to parboiling and the milling.
Okay.
So I quickly explain to you about the parboiling technology.
Yes,
now coming to our milling. Now once the paddy is parboiled, it is still having the husk over it. So you need to peel off the husk. You need to ensure that it is, whitened, polished, and ready for baggage. So that complete range of milling machines also we have, and that is what we are launching on 23rd of August in Hyderabad, India. So this entire range of machineries. Parboiling, we have been, of course, the world's best since the last 10 years. And the last 1 year, we have also ventured into milling machines.
Okay.
And as part of this milling machine launch, this is the global first. No one in the world has done this innovation that, milling machines, rice milling machines powered with AI and ML. So this is the first. So that's what I wanted to add quickly. Now coming to whether this technology would stand the test of time.
Yes.
Definitely yes.
Okay.
Provided, we are also innovating every day.
Exactly.
We are also innovating every day, and we are aware, fully grounded with the ground realities and the requirement of the people. Now I understand why you say this, because a country which is kind of still on the verge of becoming self-reliant with regard to technology and rice production, like in Nigeria,
and trying to understand the use of AI coming in all of this.
Yes, so I'm sure that's what you and your viewers would be interested to know, whether if this is realistically possible to accept and sustain with this technology.
Exactly.
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. Because usually, because since the last couple of years AI and ML have become the buzzword, sometimes it tends to scare away people that maybe this is not my cup of tea. No, please don't have any kind of inhibitions, especially for the rice mill owners and all the viewers. I would like to say that technology, especially AI enabled technology, is user friendly. To make it very simple in layman language, let me explain what exactly is AI in, let's say, a color sorter in milling. So what you're doing is, you are having a high resolution camera and in the color sorter, and you're programming the color sorter using AI to precision, such that the rice sorting with regard to color, its color is done with precision accuracy, with minimum error, ensuring consistency and quality. Okay. So AI actually ensures the end user excellent output, and you and me as common people, we don't even want to look at that AI in that machine. It doesn't concern me as long as I'm getting good food on my table. Right? So the people who are the best judge of this AI ML technology, of course, are the people who are going to use it. That is, the rice mill owners, and I'm sure they have an eye for this beauty.
I like the fact that you said. Now, I'm going to ask you, how will agricultural revolution help the Nigerian economy and society? But before then, who are your partners?
Okay, you mean our customers?
Yes, your customers. Sorry.
Okay, thank you so much for asking. In Nigeria, we are blessed by grace of God with wonderful customers, and who treat us as their family, and blessed, truly blessed. And I have been personally working very closely in Nigeria since the last 2 years, and most of the rice mill owners, they know me, and we are like a family. And Dantatas, they are our customer. The Sagard Farms, the Ranos, the A. they are our customers. Then the Fortune, the Optimum Rice, they are our customer. And here, we are doing a couple of projects here in Abuja as well. Unity Rice, and there is one in Suleja that we are doing, the Labana Rice. And we have done for Hillcrest. Then we have done for Mangal. And we have done. We are also the partners for the Lego State Rice Mill in Imota. It's one of the biggest rice mills in Nigeria. Imota. And we have done the complete parboiling in association with Buehler for the Lego State Rice Mill. So these are the names, the big names, the medium brands and the smaller. So we cater to all the requirements. It's not that anyone coming to us will have to shell out a hefty amount. No.
Exactly. I was going to come to that now. For a farmer who is listening to you at this moment, who wants to bring in this amazing innovation when it comes to his farming, especially when it comes to rice. Does he have to break a bank? Is it very expensive? Because these are technologies, these are machines coming in. So do you have prizes for everyone, or is just for some sets of people?
No, we customize, as per the requirement. We tailor make it, because these are, mostly we take up projects, like turnkey projects, and anyone who's ready to invest in setting up a world-class rice mill, depending on their requirement, we tailor make it. And and in fact, one of our esteemed customer in Kano, Gizna, AI Gizna, so they are coming up with excellent rice mill. We recently are setting up, just about to finish installation of 8 tons per hour rice mill, complete turnkey project, parboiling and the complete milling, and they are on the verge of expanding it again very soon. So we cater to all sizes. We have done more than 32 48 tons per hour to as small as 4 tons per hour, 5 tons per hour. So we cater to all capacities and sizes.
Now, I want to ask this question. I mentioned before that I was going to ask before I delved into who are your customers. So how would the agricultural revolution now help the Nigerian economy and, of course, the society?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Now, agriculture, as we discussed, it's the backbone, lifeline of any country. And usually, in most developing economies, majority of your people are some way or the other employed in agricultural sector. So if you're giving impetus to your agri sector, then of course you are boosting job creation and in general better livelihood for people, right? So that's number one. And of course, what's the basic agenda of driving through any revolution, especially agricultural revolution or the green revolution that was started in Nigeria around 1980s? It's to ensure food security, right? So food security means what? Ensuring accessible, good quality, nutritious food at affordable price to people. So that is food security.
Of course.
So all these things will be taken care when you're giving impetus. You continue to give impetus to the agricultural revolution. And most important, as I'm telling you, backward engineering is very critical. Especially you need to mechanize the farms, not just mechanize the processing of grains. So mechanizing the farms is equally important. And the other benefit is, once Nigeria is fully self-reliant and self-sufficient in rice production, for example, because rice is a staple food, that's why I'm talking a lot more about rice.
Rice, of course.
So once that is achieved, then Nigeria can be an exporter of rice.
Really?
Across Africa and the world. And if you, let's say, name 5 things, let's say if you have to list down 5 things which Nigeria has very proudly achieved with regard to becoming self-reliant in production, then rice production is one among them. And I again urge all the respective stakeholders, my humble request is to please don't lose out this advantage that Nigeria has gained by opening up import of rice. At the same time, the onus is also on the Rice Millers Association in ensuring fair price of rice in the market, so that government is not forced to open up importing of rice. So it's a collective responsibility and collective will, as I was talking about.
Yes, it is. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Engineer Kashiv Shedra. He is the head of international business, and talking about the agricultural revolution of Nigeria. That is an amazing revolution in Nigeria. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. And of course, we're going to play the video again, so to just intimate us and for us to understand what this is all about. Of course, can you say something? Can you look at the camera and just say something, that particular camera, and say something?
Okay. So thank you so much. Thanks again for having us, APIT, on your show. Very, happy to be speaking with you, your entire team, and the viewers. So the people who are interested to be part of this Green Revolution launch in India on 23rd of August in Hyderabad, India. So please visit our website www.apit.co.in. You have all the details to register yourself and be part of this eventful milestone in the history of rice milling technology. So we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Hopefully we'll look forward to attending also. Thank you so much. All right. Now let's quickly watch the video again, and thank you so much for being a part of the program, Engineer Kashiv Shedra, and of course he is the head of international business. Let's watch the video again. And how do you say namaste is thank you, right?
Namaste. Yeah, namaste is a greeting for anything that you can say.
All right, namaste. Let's go watch the video.
Innovation was born before the world even dreamt of it. From the invention of zero, the surgical marvels of Sushruta, from urban water systems of the Indus Valley, to root steel, navigation, and precision in astronomy, India didn't just survive history, India defined it. And today, the same spirit of invention is reborn in the fields, in the mills, in the grains that feed the world. APIT, Agri-Process Innovation Technologies, is carrying forward the legacy of Bharat's brilliance in paddy and rice technology. Innovation after innovation. APIT has redefined parboiling by engineering a world-first Silk-Color rice classification, a quantum leap in food safety and consumer satisfaction. With super aging technology, we bring 10 months of natural grain aging in just 10 hours, preserving nutrition, flavor, and profitability. The Gel Cook invention revolutionizes starch gelatinization with unmatched consistency, giving rice that perfect bite and aroma. From hybrid dryers to AI/ML-powered drying architecture, to pros to IMOS, complete process automation in paddy thermal treatment and intelligent rice milling. We've made machines intelligent and rice mills futuristic. And now, the world will witness this revolution. On August 23rd, 2025 at Hyderabad, the grain revolution begins. Come, see where tradition meets technology, where India's ancient soul powers the global food future. APIT, the powerhouse of rice technology. India, the power of rice.
Welcome back from that first discussion. Well, we've been talking about agricultural revolution in Nigeria, and of course, Nigeria is a fertile land. Let's get mechanized and focus on agriculture for a year or two, and the rest, anything about hunger will become history, and our economy will know where it's going to be. Right now, we'll go into the second conversation, where we'll look at electoral offenders, and of course, INEC. All right. In fact, the suit has been dismissed, and as a matter of fact, court have said, no, INEC, we can't stop this. We dismiss your case. We're not seeing any case here. Details will be coming to you as we go into the discussion proper. And joining me on the discussion right here, it's a legal practitioner, a public and political affairs analyst. And he's right here, Dr. Okay, Ezogo. It's good to have you join us on Global Morning today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Let's quickly go into the issue, the discussion of the day. We're talking about electoral offenses. Most times we hear of election, shifting blame from here, this person is this person is this, but at the end of the day, we have not seen anyone who is, apart from 2023, where we have a pocket of individuals who were faulted for electoral offenses. Now, what do you have to say about electoral offenders in Nigeria before we go into what's transpiring between INEC and, of course, the civil society organizations and the courts?
Well, to an average man on the street, it's very easy to identify what you can call electoral offenses. Of course, over time, we grew up to see people carrying ballot boxes, going to disrupt elections, pulling booths, harassing people and all of that, and then taking away the ballot boxes to go and stuff up and return to the same place, or even at the end of the day, some of them don't even get back to the venue, but the results are announced eventually. And of course, the worst of the situation was what played out in Lagos in the last election, 2023 election, where openly people were told, hey, you cannot vote. And in some cases, somebody will tell you, except you are voting for a particular political party. And it was so terrible, and it gave out Nigeria as one of the most serious countries in terms of election management. You know, when you even have to tell somebody that if you are from so and so tribe, you don't vote, you are not to vote.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria. In Nigeria, where some of our nationals who are in Europe, UK, and some other countries are aspiring to become prime ministers. Some of them are ministers in various governments in Europe and America. And here we are quarreling over who is a brother, who is from my tribe. For instance, in Lagos, let me be very, very, very factual about this. We watched it on telly. It was like a drama, Nollywood movies, you know. Where somebody will come and tell you, you can't vote. You can't vote. You are from this tribe, you can't vote, and all of that. I mean, it was silly. It was silly. And do you know the worst aspect of it? I mean, when I gave up on our security agencies was when a particular person in Lagos came on air, threatened everybody, said all manner of things, intimidated everybody, harassed everybody, and told them in plain terms, told the electorates in plain terms that you cannot vote. In fact, there was so much vote suppression. But at the end of the day, the security agencies explained it off that the man was joking.
All right. Let me take you to somewhere, because that statement was very vital. We had a situation where there were situations. Let me speak to Nigerians now. Nigerians, let me take our mind back to 2023. As a matter of fact, where some persons were even beaten for supporting a particular party in Nigeria here. I don't want to call the name of the party right now, but then, and so many other things happened, and the presidential candidate of that party was going around. I could remember vividly one woman that was beaten up. Then nothing was done. We've had cases of people being sponsored somehow, all right, to snatch ballot boxes. That's by the way. Now, INEC is shouldered with the responsibility, okay, of conducting what we call free and fair election. But now, the same INEC is trying to dodge a responsibility. As a matter of fact, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has rejected the attempt by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to set aside the judgment directing and compelling INEC itself as the body saddled with the responsibility, all right, to investigate and prosecute perpetrators and sponsors of electoral violence and other electoral offenses committed during the 2023 general election. Now, the question now is this: why is INEC saying, are they saying it is not right to investigate and prosecute people who are sponsors and people who participate in violence? Why? What is the issue right here? Because you're saddled with the responsibility of conducting a free and fair election. Then somebody is saying, all right, people who try to obstruct the process should be prosecuted. Whether you are sponsoring, whether the person is part of the people. And somebody is saying, well, no, it shouldn't be so. What's your thoughts?
Don't forget that INEC is still reeling under the hangover of 2023 election, all the nonsense things they did during the election. All their conduct, all their activities couldn't add up. That hangover is still on them. And I've been trying here and there to explain off why they failed. And I think this is just one of the antics they're coming up with. Try to make everybody believe that except you allow us to do it this way, we will not be able to prosecute. It has not gotten to that. What we are saying is conduct a proper election, be accountable during the election, and the issue of prosecution won't even come up. That's what we're saying. The manipulation of results in elections, who does that? Is it not INEC officials? And whoever they employed, whether ad hoc or whatever? So what are they talking about? I see it as seeing one of those distractions too, whereby they want us to believe that it's because of some of these limitations that is why they are not doing what they ought to do. That's what I feel. Otherwise, whatever interpretation, after all, we've had electoral officers, and I know the REC in Akwa Ibom or so, took on a professor who manipulated results of election, and the man went to jail. And I'm not sure there was any controversy about which way and in which form he was prosecuted that made them to imprison him. Are you getting me? It was a smooth sail for INEC. Because of what? Because the person who was out there to do the right thing was out there to ensure that if you mess up around him, he will deal with you. And he dealt with the professor. The professor of University of Calabar, a professor of Agric or so. So there was no controversy about that, the prosecution of the professor. He went to jail. Regrettably, the beneficiaries of that arrangement that threw that man into jail are still smarting around and nothing has happened to them and nobody's talking about it.
All right. Now, Serap is standing to say, well, as it is, INEC is refusing to obey. According to what we have, it said INEC had in a suit challenged the contempt lawsuit brought by Socioeconomic Right and as Accountability Project at Serap against INEC chairman, because whatever happened, the chairman will have to be held responsible, even though he doesn't go down to the wards, to conduct the election, but he sent people there. That's what we know. But then, what Serap is actually bothered about right now is the Commission's failure to obey the July 18, 2024 judgment by Justice Obiora Eguata. The issue of not obeying court judgment in Nigeria is becoming something else. So, what do you think can be done in this case? Because Serap is bringing this thing up because of the refusal of the Commission to obey the lawsuit. The judgment that has since been passed, or a legal practitioner
that they should prosecute the offenders.
Yes.
Is it not? That the offenders should be prosecuted.
Yes.
And I mentioned earlier that the REC in Akwa Ibom then, I think Guinea or something, Mr. Guinea, I can't remember his name now. Mr. Guinea successfully ensured the prosecution of a professor. And I'm not sure INEC took permission from anybody to do that. What I'm trying to say is INEC simply don't want to prosecute offenders. That is the truth. The judgment of 2024 notwithstanding, they don't have the political will to prosecute offenders, because offenders are known and are seen, and many are caught in the act, and many of them regrettably happen to be INEC officials, and they're not ready to prosecute. That is just it. It's not a matter of obedience. Whether they want to obey the law, the court or something. They lack the political way to do that because, they started on a very faulty foundation. When you take an action that you cannot explain, an action that does not really make sense to an average person on the street, like when you're talking of technical glitch, and then you expect me to understand what technical glitch means, and that is why some elections were announced, some were not announced, and then figures were manipulated and all that, and you couldn't explain why figures were manipulated. And then you threw up devices like all these beavers and the rest of them, which were supposed to be safeguards. They were supposed to be safeguards, you know, in our electoral journey. But you discountenance with them at the last minute. People had to vote. So many people voted without recourse to the beavers. And then you now say that you now came up again with the idea that even the results that are pasted, that they still need to do a back end whatever for authentication. The IRF again is not conclusive about results of elections. I mean, the whole thing was so muddled up. So what I'm saying, and I still stand by it, that what INEC is trying to explain off is why they failed to conduct a credible election.
Okay, so there shouldn't be room at all for offences.
Oh, no, what I mean is that offences are offences. Many of them are criminal offences, don't forget. Many of these offences, you can embellish it with anything, call it electoral offences, but they are criminal. You falsify a figure, it's criminal. You snatch a ballot box, it's criminal. You beat up somebody in the process of an election, it's criminal. You intimidate and harass somebody, it's criminal. I don't know what you understand me.
Yeah.
So, whether we are coming to this in terms of electoral offences, that's what you choose to call it. But fundamentally, these are criminal offences. Most of them are criminal offences and could be prosecuted accordingly.
All right. Apart from INEC, what do you think is the role of politicians, people who contest for these positions, as it has to do with these electoral offences?
The truth of the matter is that our institutions appears compromised at every level. During the elections, you see Nigerian security agencies, police, civil defense, and the rest of DSS massed up around political gladiators, those who are actually participants in the election. They mass up around them. And because they mass up around them, they now move from one place to the other. In fact, in some places, somewhere here in Lugbe, in Abuja here, policemen were found. I remember that was the story during the last election. Policemen were found even helping to thumbprint ballot papers for a political party. So, who is checking who? Who is checkmating who? Nobody is checkmating the other person. The whole arrangement is so compromised. And until we begin to de-emphasize this idea of deploying our security services to protect individuals instead of group, instead of society, instead of community, because as soon as these people, these agencies get to these politicians, they get too politically exposed and they start saying things they were not supposed to say. Money moving around in Ghana must go, money changing hands and all that. And in some cases, they turn out to be domestic servants of some of these politicians and now take part in real terms, even in the distribution of some of the funds in question. So, who is going to check who? The political class are the problem. How many people are saying, okay, fine, Machiavellian style of politics, whatever you can do and win the election, and then somebody tells you to go to court, because that is it. And it is that phrase, or that idea of you should go to court, that is what has destroyed anything that is remaining in our electoral system that could actually trigger anybody to think of voting in elections. But what it is now is, you are going for an election with an opponent. The opponent is probably not popular. He knows he cannot win the election. But he can foment enough trouble that can make him win the election. And he tells you to go to court. And I'm not trying to insinuate that the courts dash anybody these positions when the matters get to court. I'm not insinuating that. But I also know that a lot of things might have played out, or that things are playing out in such a form that the man who is asking you to go to court is so confident
It even became a slogan.
It became a slogan. And that includes the fact that INEC, in most cases, INEC is probably ready, or the officials are ready to play along with whoever is insisting on going to court, or whoever is urging you to go to court. He's probably sure of INEC to come and testify for him and all that. We had situations of, suppression of material facts during the last election, where people who wanted to go to court sought documents from INEC in some of the states, but INEC refused to give them. Some sought for the voters register, and they were not given. Some sought for all kind of documents they sought for, were not given. They were not given. INEC suppressed those documents and ensured that those who needed them.
So what does that speak? What volume does that speak?
That's the same thing we're saying. It buttresses what I'm saying, that INEC is only trying to see the ways and means of washing themselves off an ugly situation, because already they know they are failed. They find it difficult to reel out from the ugly conduct of the last election, and then they are now trying to pass the buck to whoever they can. That is because you didn't do this, because you didn't allow us to do this, because we are not free to do this or do that. That is why. That is not the issue. The issue is fundamentally conduct a credible election. 2, let your officials do what they ought to do. 3, Freedom of Information Act 2011. It allows people to go. I mean, if you want any information from any government establishment, you go there, you get it. But INEC, in so many cases, in so many instances, that's what I heard, flagrantly refused to, avail some of these documents needed by litigants in the prosecution of their cases in the last election.
Oh, all right. We're looking at 2023 election here, and it's no longer news. You are aware that preparation for 2027 is already on the way. And you heard of coalition, you heard of people saying, well, the VP position, some people who are very sure that they will get 2027 are now saying, well, ANPP deserve a vice president position in the APC. You see some people saying, well, ADC is going to give APC a run for their money, want to unseat the president and all of that. So many things happening. Some persons will tell you, all right, who is ADC going to front in 2027? Some persons are saying so many things in the polity. Some persons are talking about the registration of more parties. About 144 parties are begging for registration, and we have so many already. Now let's take a holistic view of the polity right now, looking back to 2023. We had a lot of offenders in 2023. 2027 is coming. What do you think of the polity come 2027 as far as INEC is concerned, politicians are concerned, and political parties and Nigerians who are the electorate are concerned? And don't forget, you can't talk about election in Nigeria right now and remove the judiciary, because of the kind of role the judiciary played in the 2023 election that you just talked about, the issue of going to court with a full chest.
Well, nothing in INEC suggests that we are not going to have a repeat of what we saw in 2023. I've not seen anything that suggests that we are not going to have a repeat. But we are likely going to have a worst scenario. Nothing. Because last election, like I said earlier, INEC requested for so much. We are giving so much to conduct the election. So it couldn't have been because of paucity of fund that made them to not to do what they ought to do. Incidentally, I'm beginning to feel that many of our electoral managers are even card carrying members of political parties. They are sympathetic to these parties. that the government party or the opposition or whichever way, but I know that a good many of them cannot stand up and say no to our given establishments. Many cannot. The INEC chairman we still have today happened to be the same INEC chairman we had in 2023. There was a time a rumor came up, he has been replaced and all that. It was an amorphous movement that I cannot really make up how that movement came, and then the rumor came up, and then all of a sudden they introduced one professor here and there. Later they said somebody was acting as the chairman of INEC, and now again the former INEC chairman is absolutely in control. So nothing has changed. And let me tell you, in the next election, you'll be shocked, except certain personalities are thrown up by political parties. Of course, probably that could ginger a lot of persons to get excited, to say, okay, let's try and see whether we can vote. But beyond that, I see a situation where on election day, people will just be sleeping in their houses. Nobody will go out to them.
That is come 2027.
Oh, yes.
Because of the experience.
Because of the experience, yes. Because nothing has changed. Nothing. And our political leaders are not helping the situation. Everybody, both the leaders and their followers are as confused. Because today, this one is in PDP, tomorrow is in APC. Today, this one is in PDP, tomorrow is in ADC. Tomorrow, this one is in this, tomorrow is in that. And regrettably, political parties have ceased from building the framework for growth of their parties. Everybody appears looking for something that will drop from somewhere so that they can just pick the money and begin to cause trouble in their political parties. Make trouble. In fact, the more trouble you create in your political party, the more it looks like your survival is guaranteed. At least your stomach infrastructure is guaranteed. The moment you're able to put some problems into your political party, go to court, raise factions here and there. Yeah, somebody somewhere could be saying, "Thank you very much." That's what happens. We are going to see. So what I'm trying to say is, come 2027, there's nothing significant that's going to change. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If we couldn't get it right in 2023, what do you think will happen in 2027? Yeah, I know there is this dissension. Certain persons are not happy with the government and all that for whatever reason. The people have their various reasons. The other day, one of our political leaders was accusing the government of not doing much for northern Nigeria, accusing government of developing the south at the expense of the north and all that. Whether that is real or imagined, I do not know. Whether that is to draw out the managers of government, communication managers of government, so that they can do more, because that's what I suspect. I suspect that political leader that made that statement may not have made that statement because he really believed in the statement he made. I am thinking that it was to wake up presidential managers, assurance managers, to the fact that, look, you people are not doing enough to tell my people what you are doing. Now, we know you've done so much, but tell us what you are doing so that an average person will know. That's what I suspect happened.
Are we writing off the coalition? If we are going to have a repeat of what happened in 2023, like you said, we are rounding up now. Just few minutes.
The coalition. One of the good things that the coalition has brought up is that government is on their toes. Whether they like it or not, government is they are back on the drawing board. To work out how to counter some of the onslaught from the ADC. There's no doubt about that. The government is claiming that they are not making any impacts. It's not true. In fact, some of their policy maneuvers here and there, I can tell you that some of them have been able to, move them around acceptable minimum, so that at least people will begin to see it from a positive angle. Unlike in the past, where with impunity, issues are thrown up, and whether you like it or not, it's up to you. Are you getting me? So I'm not saying ADC probably, I don't know, but again, 2 years is a long time in the life of any government. Between now and next year, so much could happen. And then we begin to see power configuration and reconfigurations. We begin to see realignment and alignments. And then that's the only time we can begin to conjecture what 2027 will look like.
It's so good for joining us today, Doctor. Well, that's so informative and educative. And of course, we've been able to look at major key issues. Thank you once again for joining us on the Global Morning Show this day.
Thank you very much.
This is going to be the size of the second discussion, looking at 2023, the antecedents of INEC, and of course, SERAP have not kept quiet. They are still on their toes. Let's see what will happen to electoral offenders in 2023 and, of course, come 2027. Global Morning returns after this break. Stay with us.
Is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Well, many thanks for staying with us on Global Morning today. We told you we're going to have two very, very important discussions. What else will you do without food? Where would food come from? If we leave the farm, if everyone leaves the farm, anyhow, agricultural revolution is still key. But then, our government needs to be held accountable, all right, for whatever they do. And electoral offenders need to be prosecuted. Well, INEC, the responsibility is on your shoulders to do what you are expected to do. That's going to be the size of Global Morning for today. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. And of course...
I was waiting for that part.
Yes.
And of course what? Your amazing co-host.
You like...
We are wasting time. Say it quickly.
Amazing co-host in the person of
Jemai Manson. Have an amazing day ahead. Bye-bye.